Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I'm going to show you how to crochet this fish. So if you've never crocheted before, take a look at my videos about how to do single crochet and how to crochet in the round. So this fish actually comes from my fisherman pattern. He's called Francis the Fisherman and he's available on my Etsy store. So if you're interested in this, I'll leave the link in the description below. And you can see it comes with lots of step-by-step photos to help you. And it uses all of the same stitches that we're going to be using for the fish today. So you're going to need a 3mm crochet hook, some scissors, a yarn needle, a stitch marker, some stuffing, and some double knit yarn. I'm using orange and yellow. You also need black for the eyes. You can use any colours you want for the body and the fins. So we're going to start with the body in orange. So round 1, we're going to make a magic ring. So we just take that short tail out and put it by the side. And then we do our 6 single crochet underneath both of those strands. So you count the bees to count your stitches, and then pull tight on that short tail to close the magic ring. And then we put our stitch marker in that stitch. So round 2, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. So an increase is 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. And we're going to do that 3 times. So the part in bracket is going to be repeated 3 times. And then at the end of the round, we'll have 9 stitches. So there's 1 and then your increase. So we take out the stitch marker and do our last increase. And you can count your V's to make sure you've got 9 stitches. And then we put the stitch marker back in that last stitch we did, as we do to mark the start of every new round. Round 3, we're going to single crochet in every stitch. So we're not increasing or decreasing, we're just maintaining 9 stitches. And then we take out the marker and do our last single crochet. And then as usual, we put the marker back in. Round 4, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that 3 times, and at the end of the round we'll have 12 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then our increase. So take out the marker and do the last increase. And put our marker back in. Round 5, we're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 12 stitches. So I've sped this up just to show you, but you could pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. Round 6, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 15 stitches at the end of the round. So I'm just going to show you the first set, and then you can pause the video and finish the rest of the round. So 1, 2, 3, and then increase. Okay, so this is how you would count your rounds. So you can count from the top. So round 7, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then we're going to increase the next stitch. Do that 3 times, and we'll have 18 stitches at the end of the round. So again, I'll just show you the first set, and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. So you can see your increases, and we're always doing the increase in the second stitch of the previous increase on the previous round. Round 8, we're going to single crochet in every stitch, so just maintaining 18 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. And you can stretch it out and reshape it. And just count your rounds. It's good to make sure that you're on the right number. Round 9, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then we're going to increase the next stitch. We'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 21 stitches at the end of the round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then increase. Round 10, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and we're going to increase in the next stitch. Do that 3 times, and we'll have 24 stitches at the end of the round. So rounds 11 to 12, that's 2 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 24 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done those 2 rounds. You can see the increased stitch there, and then you can count 2 rounds after that. Round 13, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease. So I'll show you how to do that. We're going to do that 3 times, and at the end of the round we'll have 21 stitches. So we count, make sure we got 6. And then to do an invisible decrease, we're going to be working in the front loops only. So this is the front loop here, and this is the back loop here. So we want the front loop, so we pick up the front loop of the next stitch, and then we pick up the front loop of the stitch next to that. And then we yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. So it can help to pull through one first and then the next if it's a bit fiddly. Yarn over and then pull through the last 2 loops. So we've now decreased. So you can see the back loops remaining on the back, and you can see this diagonal piece. We don't want to go into that. We want to go into the next stitch, so underneath the next V. So then we just do another 6 single crochet and then invisible decrease. So once you get the hang of it, you can normally go through both loops at the same time. So invisible decreases are not actually completely invisible. There is a difference and you can see them. So that allows you to be able to count how many stitches you got in between them. So on our last set now, so we take out the marker when we got 2 stitches remaining, and we do our last invisible decrease. So you can reshape it and push that short tail inside. So remember to go underneath the V for the next stitch. So rounds 14 to 15, that's 2 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, and we're just maintaining 21 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done those. Okay, so I've done my 2 rounds. You can see the invisible decrease there. There is a slight difference to it. And then the 2 rounds. So just push that tail inside and stretch it out. Now we're going to begin stuffing as we go. So just take small pieces and push it in and stuff it firmly, but not too close to the top because we don't want to get it caught in our stitches. Round 16, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 18 stitches. So I'll just show you the first set, and then you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. So round 17 to 18, that's 2 rounds. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 18 stitches. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. So we're now going to continue stuffing it. Round 19, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. We're going to invisible decrease, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 15 stitches at the end of the round. So we're just going to do one round now, round 20. We're going to single crochet in every stitch, just maintaining 15 stitches. So you can meet me back when you've done that. And we continue stuffing it. Round 21, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, then we're going to invisible decrease, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 12 stitches at the end of the round. And keep stuffing as you go. Round 22, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then we're going to invisible decrease, and we'll do that 3 times, and we'll have 9 stitches at the end of the round. So just the last bits of stuffing now. You can use the end of your crochet hook to push it down. Round 23, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease, do that 3 times, and we'll have 6 stitches at the end of the round. And this is the last round. So it's going to get quite small and fiddly, so it helps to put your finger just inside there. So I'm going to show you the whole round just because it is a bit more fiddly than the previous ones. So now we're going to leave a tail about this long and cut the yarn and fasten off. And now we finish the body. Now we're going to make the tail fin, so I made mine in yellow. And we're going to make 2 of these the same. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. Put your hook into it. And then chain 9. So you count your V's to count your chains. And we're going to start in the second chain from the hook, so this one here. We're going to work our way back down the chain. So we're going to do a slip stitch in the first one. So we push the hook in the stitch, yarn over and pull through. And then we just pull that loop through the first loop on our hook. And that's a slip stitch. Now we're going to go into the next chain. So this one here. And we're going to do a single crochet. Now we're going to do a half double crochet in the next chain. So we yarn over, push the hook in the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Now we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So we yarn over, push the hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So we're going up in high order with the stitches. Now we're going to do a treble crochet. So we wrap the yarn around the hook twice, and then push the hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So that's the tallest stitch. And now we're going to work our way back down in height order. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over into the stitch, Now we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. And then in the last stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch. So we've got 8 stitches. And now we're going to leave a tail for sewing. About this long. Cut the yarn and fasten off. And now you just need to make one more following the same pattern. So you can pause the video and meet me back when you've done that. Now we're going to make the top fin. So we're going to make a slip knot, but we're going to leave a long tail at the start like this, because we're going to use that for sewing later on. So we put our hook in and we chain 7. And starting in the second stitch from the hook, we're going to do a slip stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. And then a half double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet in the next stitch. A treble in the next stitch. And then another treble in the last stitch. And then you can fasten off, leaving a tail. Now we're going to make the bottom middle fin. So we're going to chain 5. And starting in the second stitch from the hook, we're going to slip stitch. Then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. Half double crochet in the next stitch. And double crochet in the last stitch. So we've got 4 stitches. And then cut the yarn, leaving a tail, and fasten off. Now we're going to make the fin near the tail fins. So we're going to chain 4. And starting in the second stitch from the hook, we're going to slip stitch. And then single crochet in the next stitch. And then half double crochet in the last stitch. We've got 3 stitches. And then same as before, fasten off, leaving a tail. So now we're going to take the orange tail from where we finished on the body and thread it onto our needle. And we're going to close this hole. So we're going to flatten it so that it's a flat edge. And then we're just going to weave through each stitch and going through the opposite stitch and just making few stitches. And then to fasten off, we find a loop and go through it, but don't pull through all the way. Leave a loop, go through that loop from behind and pull tight to make a knot. And then you can weave that through the middle and come out in the middle of the body and cut the yarn close to the edge of the work and use the end of your yarn needle to push that in and hide that end. So we want the end that we flattened to be in line with the side that we're going to attach our fins to. So we're going to take this first tail fin and we're going to thread that tail from the slip knot onto our needle, and we're going to weave that into the back of the stitches like this. So pull through, but make sure you don't pull through too tight because you don't want to pull it out of shape, and cut the yarn close to the edge of the work, and then thread the long tail onto our needle. Now we're going to sew it on. So we want to sew it onto the flat edge, and we're going to sew the first one in the corner here, and then just go through stitches and then back through the orange piece, and then fasten off in the same way that we did on the body. So just do it at the back. So just find a loop and go through from behind, pull tight to make a knot, and then weave that end in and cut the yarn. And then we're going to sew the other fin on right next to it. And weave in the tail. So now we're going to sew on the top fin. So to begin with, we're going to take that top tail from where we fastened off, and we're going to weave that into the back of the stitches. And make sure you don't pull too tight. You can stretch it to make it go back into shape. And then cut the yarn. And then we're going to use that long tail that we left at the start of the slip knot to sew that bottom edge on where we've got those remaining chain loops. So we're going to sew it on like this on the edge in line with the tail fins, and I want it right in the middle here, and we're going to pick up orange loops and then we're going to go through those chain loops. We just do this all the way along. And then we fasten off using a loop behind it. And then weave in the end. So now we're going to sew on the middle bottom fin, so the bigger one of the two. And we want to do this on the same round in line with where the top fin ends, and also in line with the tail fins as well. So we just sew that on using exactly the same method. So picking up loops from the bottom edge. And we also want to make sure that the front of the stitches, so the right side, is facing us. So then we fasten off and weave in the tail. And then the last fin is the smallest one, and that goes in between the tail fins and the middle one, about here. So we just sew that on in the same way as the previous piece. and then fasten off and weave in the tail. So now we're going to make the eyes, and the eyes are made using French knots. So we're going to cut a 26cm long piece of black yarn, and then we're going to tie a knot near the end of it to stop it coming through the stitches, and then thread that onto the needle. We're going to count to between rounds 5 and 6. We're going to come up through the bottom and then come out at the side where we want the first eye to be, and pull it through so that the knot gets stopped. So then we want to hold that piece of yarn taut, place the needle horizontally over it and wrap the yarn around twice. Then turn the needle so it's vertical and hold on to that strand all the time. And then make sure those loops stay on the needle and push through the exact same place that you came out of. And hold on to it all the time while you're pulling through. And that is a French knot. So I've come out at the top in the middle. And then we're going to go back through that same space we came out of so that we can get to the other side. So we want to do it in the same place between rounds 5 and 6. So we come out, and then we're going to do another French knot. So it's exactly the same. Just check your positioning, make sure it's where you want it to be. Wrap the yarn around the needle twice, turn it, go back through the same place. Now I'm coming out underneath it this time, but it doesn't matter. And then pull tight, and then you've got your second French knot. And then you can see both eyes from the top. And now I'm not going to fasten off because it would leave a visible knot on the outside. So I'm going to go back through the space that I came out of and weave it through the body. And that should be enough so that it doesn't come out. And then we need to push that short tail back inside. So I used the end of my scissors because I found that that worked better than the needle. So I'm just feeding that back through to hide it. And then we cut that yarn close to the edge of the work. And then use the end of our needle to push it in and hide the end. So there we have it. We finished our fish. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I'd love to see a photo of your fish. You can share it with me by tagging me on Instagram at Laura_Wilson01. If you'd like to check out my Etsy shop, I'll leave the link in the description. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.